Ladies and gentlemen, I wish we could have started this podcast maybe 25 minutes ago when we first walked in the house, because Anna has just been cracking jokes left and right. And after the 9.5 hour ride to get here, very excited for you guys to meet one of the OGs, right? One of the original, I'm talking pre-COVID. This is before the world shut down. Anna was like, I'm about what you're doing. I want to learn more. I want to see what you're. So when I thought about going out into the world, seeing my members in real time, Anna was one of the first people that came to mind, because she can give you the good, bad, and ugly from the very beginning. There is no, I saw what she was doing later. Anna was a part of the first joint venture. Anna's been a part of the membership from the very beginning. She has a membership fee that people don't see anymore. Don't even think about. Right? Every time she joins the membership info sessions, I know she's like, ooh.
I'm glad I joined when I joined. Boy.
So I would like to introduce you guys to Anna Lee, one of the original members of the Simple Real Estate Memberhood, as I go on tour to see my members in action, to hear them tell their stories, right? To be one of the first of this series so she can share with you her story. So I'm going to start with an easy question. Anna, why did you want to get involved in real estate? What started this whole thing?
Okay, so my love of real estate, I think it started 20 years ago.
Okay.
I thought I wanted to be a real estate agent. I took the exam, and I found a broker to sponsor me. And he's like, all right, so it's going to cost you $3,000 for training, and you got to commit to like 25 hours a week. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I have a 3-year-old. I can't do that. So that's how that started. And then, so I like to live way above my means.
Okay.
And I needed some passive income.
That's right.
Some income that I can make in my sleep.
That's right.
So I said, well, let's see, what can I do? So then I thought I wanted to buy tax liens and tax deeds.
Yes.
So I took a course in that.
Okay. When was this? This is not
that
20
might
years
have
ago.
been, no, that was like 2019.
Okay.
2019.
About 6 years ago.
So yeah, because I knew people who didn't pay their taxes. So I'm like, well, can I get their house? Because that's why it looks like on YouTube and Instagram, it looks like, okay, they're not going to pay their house. I can get their house, right? So, and their house looked nice. But then I found out that when it goes to auction, they bid the price up to like market rate. Yeah. So I'm like, that's not what I saw on TV.
That's right.
But like in the places that I could probably get something, it was like dilapidated and in Alabama or somewhere in the South. And I'm not doing that. So, okay, not doing that. All right, so let me keep looking. So what I'm going to do next. So then I actually joined another group. I forgot the name of it. And I met one of my...
we were going to blank it out.
One of my classmates told me about Simple Real Estate. And she's like, oh, it's a young girl and she owns all these buildings and she does little funny videos where you actually learn something. And I was like, okay, let me check her out. So I checked it out. I was like, oh, this is cool. So that's when I joined. And I think that was like 2020.
That was 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, 2020.
Right at the beginning. So I want to back up a little bit. Why did you want to be an agent? You've wanted to be lots of things. We've talked through lots of real estate things, but why being an agent? What about that fit into your lifestyle?
When I drive around, if I see an open house, I'll stop.
Okay.
And I'll just go look at the open house.
Got it.
And I'm like, oh, house is pretty. I want to sell pretty houses. Right?
Okay.
So I really didn't want to sell the pretty houses. I just wanted to own the pretty houses.
Yes.
That's what I found out. I don't want to sell them. I said, well, I want to sell the pretty houses. And then I'm like, but these houses in New York are not pretty.
Yes.
Maybe I want to sell houses in another state, maybe California, Miami, Florida, not New York. So, yeah.
Okay. So that was 20 years ago. So between 20 years ago and 6 years ago, when you joined that tax lien course, did you do anything in real estate in that time period?
No.
Okay. So just owned your own home.
Just raising my son.
That's right.
Owned my own home. And that's it.
So
and watching like House Hunters and all those other shows on TV.
That's right.
Just like, one day this will be mine.
It pops back up in 2019, this interest of getting into real estate in some form or another.
Right.
And you think, okay, not tax liens because it's going to market value. Maybe something else. Was there something else in mind before you joined the neighborhood?
No, just rentals.
Just rentals.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
For that passive income you were talking about.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
When you joined, what did you feel like you struggled the most with?
When I joined
The membership. Yeah, Simple Real Estate. Absolutely.
Being realistic about my goals and where I was at the time. Like, of course I wanted, like, you know, the really big expensive houses.
Yeah.
But my budget wasn't saying that.
That's right.
And
it wasn't your budget that was necessarily delusional. It was how much you needed to put down where we had a lot of tension. There wasn't, her budget could have got higher. You had the money to put more down. But when we would talk about, I need you to write that check, you'd be like, I don't want to.
No, I don't.
I don't want to write that check. That's too much to risk on the first property. And that's too much to invest. I can afford it.
But I don't want to.
I don't want to.
I'm
I
really
think that's
cheap.
a little different. Yes.
I'm very cheap.
Yes.
But I know what I did know was I didn't have to spend $400,000 or $500,000
correct
to make the cash flow that I wanted.
Yes.
But I couldn't do it in New York where I live.
Exactly.
So I had to go somewhere where I can get something for $100,000.
Yes.
And make the cash flow that I wanted. So I'll have to travel 2-3 hours out of my way to get what I wanted. So
you are an out of state investor. You do not invest in New York.
No.
And you went out of state because that's where your money made sense.
Yes.
To get the cash flow you wanted with the amount of money you were willing to put down.
Exactly.
Do you remember how long it took for you to find your first deal?
A long time.
A long time.
I think it took actually almost 2 years.
And do you remember why it took so long?
So, okay, I had 2 agents. The first agent didn't work out. The second agent, she would send me homes, right?
Yes.
And then I would go out and look at 8 to 10 homes each visit. And I always found something wrong with every house. And it was like, and I didn't want to own those homes because it needed a lot of work.
Yes.
And I was like, people actually live like this?
Yes.
So I'm like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. Like, I'm not trying to write a check for a whole bunch of money just to fix this place.
Yes.
So I just kept looking, and I would come out and maybe every few months.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where she was like, okay, I know what you're looking for. You don't even have to come out anymore. So she's like, you see something you want, I go check on it, and I'll let you know if it's worth putting an offer on.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. She would tell me, okay, this is no good. And then finally one day she's like, oh, I found that place you sent me. It was nicer than anything we saw.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, put an offer on it.
Yeah.
She's like, you don't want to see it? No.
I'm good.
I just put an offer on it because I'm going to find something wrong with it.
Yes.
So just put an offer on it.
Yes.
And that's what we did.
In hindsight, were there any properties you saw that you wish you would have snatched up?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So the past was the right move.
This was perfect. It had no yard, so I didn't have to worry about maintenance. Maintenance.
The one you got. Right.
It didn't have a scary basement. Like in Pennsylvania, a lot of the homes had these scary looking basements with just look scary. And it had like a lot of water in the corners. Yeah. And this one didn't have a basement.
Yes.
No basement, no yard. 3 family.
Yes.
A triplex. This one was for me.
Yes. Yes.
It was perfect. Even though people were bidding up during that time because it was COVID.
Yes.
So people were bidding over. And she wanted me to bid like, I think it was 10,000 over. I was like, no, I don't want to spend that much.
And we fought over that $5,000.
But I got it.
We did. Anna and I fought over that $5,000.
Like, I could do it $5,000
for so long. That's it for that purchase price. And and she's right. She won. She got it. She beat me to it. Instead of what was the final price that you want to pay?
I paid $95,000.
Yeah. So instead of the 100 I wanted, she paid the 95 and she got it. So
and
I'm wrong sometimes, right? Or I just didn't win that particular argument. But I want to back up a little bit because there were a few things that I want people to make sure that they catch. She's playing in a very inexpensive market. And what sometimes comes with very inexpensive properties are properties that need a lot of work, right? Some of which aren't probably even legal to rent in that area because of the amount of work they did. They might have had people in them. But if you're going to step in, you are now taking on maybe some delayed maintenance that is going to be your responsibility when it inevitably fails. And Anna said, I'm not going to take that on. I do want this price point. And if I have to see multiple properties, so be it.
Yep.
The second thing was that she was actually ready to buy, which I think encouraged her realtor to say, you have come out multiple times. I know what you want. You don't have to come back. When I tell you guys to go see the properties, this is what I mean. Because Anna's person learned what she liked through actually seeing Anna in action, not just like crossing stuff out online or digitally. And then from there was able to say, I can be your eyes now. I don't need you to come anymore. And Anna then trusted her enough to make the offer sight unseen.
Yep.
So we get the property under contract. We go through it, and it's occupied.
Yes.
Fully occupied. Property under contract.
Actually, yeah, it was fully occupied, but the third floor, when he found out the building was sold, he moved.
Okay.
Because the second and the third apartment was paying way under market rent.
Got it.
And they thought that I would come and raise the rent, so they left.
Understood.
The third floor left. Yeah.
So inspection goes well. The property is occupied. You close. Do you manage the property?
No, I have a property manager.
Did you always have a property manager?
Yes.
How was it like hiring a property manager?
It was difficult to find property managers in that area.
Come on.
But I think when I found my insurance company, they recommended him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And when I spoke to him, he, gave me his whole spiel about how he, he's into construction and he works for Century 21, and he wanted to see the property even before I closed. He came to the inspection.
Did he?
Yeah, he came to the inspection and he's looking at the property. It's like, okay. He actually knows the neighborhood. He knew the neighborhood. He told me some stories about the house later on down the road. But I would have been like, whoa. He told me some stories. But yeah, so I linked up with him, and that's how that went with the property manager. So,
and it's been 4 years now?
It'll be 4 years in November.
It'll be 4 years in November.
Yeah.
Before we get back to the membership, what is probably your biggest lesson from owning this property the last 4 years?
Oh my God, that bad things happen.
Oh, bad things like what?
I got the property in November. In January, I had a busted pipe in my first floor apartment that flooded the apartment.
Yeah.
After I had the property for 2 months.
Yes.
And it was my handicap tenant.
Yes.
And I had to put her in a hotel.
Yeah.
And it was snowing, snow out, cold, freezing.
Yes.
And that was my first lesson.
Yeah.
So I hadn't even made any money. And now I have to spend money to have the apartment dried out, carpets replaced, house tenants. Yeah, that was a lesson learned real quick, fast. So every winter, I'm like, oh God, I hope I don't have a busted pipe. Every winter, I'm like, oh my God, I hope I don't have a busted pipe. Not again. That was a lot. So
I remember though, after the pipe burst, there was a lot of work to fix not just the spot that had burst, but how do we wrap these? How do we keep these pipes warm? What extra work can we do to be preventative?
So yeah, the property manager had suggested that we insulate the pipes outside, and put in the baseboard heater in the area where the pipes were.
Yes.
So we won't have this problem again.
Yes.
So that's what we did. And there's no wood here.
That's right.
But yes, I'm right here. We didn't have any more problems with the pipes.
Oh.
So that worked out.
And this is fun to remember because Anna is a fighter the whole way. And she fought me even on these pipes of like, well, if it already burst once, how often is it going to burst again? Do we have to do all? Anna, please. Please, we can do this. It is important. It will be worth it. So now we talk about your greatest lesson. My next question is, what has been the biggest benefit of owning this house?
So, how they say financial freedom.
That's right.
Because I can go on more vacations.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do like 4 a year.
Yeah.
And all this extra money.
Yes.
It's like, wow.
What's great about what Anna's saying is that she did not show up wanting to completely replace her salary, at least when we first started. We've talked about that more often now, but that wasn't back in 2020. It was, I want some extra money. And that can be done with a property. Every person's portfolio doesn't have to be an entire empire in order to get the goal. If the goal is, I want to go on more vacations, I have now funded with my $100,000 property my 4 vacations a year.
Yep.
Some international, some domestic, some with family, some alone. This one property that someone else takes care of, that was also safe, that was also well managed. All of that came from one decision.
Yep.
Lots of fights, but one final decision to get the property. So my question about that is, what did the membership help with?
Well, during that time, it helped me. I think it helped me select the properties, because we did look at some, and you're like, oh no, that's not good. That's horrible. Why do you want that? That looks like it's gonna fall down. Like, but what about this one? It looks nice. So I was looking for like a triplex or a fourplex.
Yes.
And I think I saw a fourplex, but you were like, nope, that's not gonna work. So on this one, I think you like this one.
I did like this one.
You like this one. So we went with that one because I knew the rent from one apartment would pay the mortgage and whatever other expenses it had. So I was going to be cash flowing from the other 2.
Yes. I like this property a lot because even at $100,000, it wasn't going to be a money pit in terms of the roof is going to go in the next 6 months, in terms of all the pipes are going to have to be replaced, in terms of just management or maintenance, right? Like you said, there wasn't a big lawn. Even if we do have to plow or for snow, there's not a lot to do there. This can be done with the budget Anna in particular wants to stay with. Some of those other properties could have been profitable, but not necessarily at the budget you want it to be at.
Right. And they also had yards that need to be maintained. I didn't want to do that. And the scary basements that could have water damage, like water, and I didn't know. This was for me.
Yes.
It was for me.
Yes.
I mean, my realtor was excited, and she was like, I can't believe you got it. You just made it. Like, cause she was like, you're not gonna pay the extra $5. No. And she's like, I can't believe you got it, because it was meant to be. It was meant to be mine.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's Anna's story about her rental property. Now I want to shift into the joint venture. Because you've been a part of, I think, every joint venture we've had, or I've done up until this point. But the first joint venture was back in 2021, when I had a little idea for an experiment of like, hey, instead of paying hard money lenders, what if I just pay my members, right? These hard money lenders are getting 8, 9, 10%. What if I just gave that to you guys instead? But I had not had any experience with them, at least, doing that.
Right.
So what made you consider being a private lender?
It seemed like a no-brainer. It was like, you give her this amount of money and she's going to return this amount of money. I can't make that in the market. This is like guaranteed money.
Yeah.
So it was like a no-brainer.
Did you? Oh, okay.
Because I think the percentage was way higher than
It was. We won't say it out loud.
Yeah.
But it was.
It was. It was like, really?
We won't share.
We won't say
it was a very different time. COVID money was essentially like printing itself. Was there any vetting done? Was it, or you just like, hey, this is a good deal. I see it. I'm going to jump on it. Did you remember having to ask any questions, having to do any research
on the property or you?
Yeah, because it wasn't about.
Well, there was some talk. I'm like, okay, I don't really know this girl. I'm just going to give her my money and she could just take out my. She could take our money and run. But no, I was just putting in faith and trusting you. I'm pretty good about people, personalities, and like I've never been scammed. So I'm pretty good at that. I'm like, I know where she lived.
And at that point, I don't even know if I was using my P.O. box, so they probably did know her.
No. Yeah, I was like, she's good. We're good.
So the first year you got your return back.
I sure did.
And you got to feel what it was like to be a private lender. Now that you have experience being a personal investor, like you own your own properties, and being a private lender, do you have a preference? Do you prefer one or the other?
Private lending is, well, because I know I was going to get my money back from you, but from somebody else, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because, people, You loan money, you don't get your money back.
That's right.
So, I mean, it's a gamble either way.
Yeah, it's a risk
gamble,
regardless.
It's a risk
for sure.
anywhere you go. So, I think private lending is easier. It's less. You don't have to do anything.
Yes.
I realized that passive income is really not passive, and yeah, really, you still have to. I have a property manager. I still have to manage my property manager. So I'm like, well, why do I have you? I could do this myself. But when they got that phone call about the busted pipe, it was just like 1 a.m, and I didn't want that phone call.
That's right.
So, and being that he does know people, and I noticed that, I live in New York. I have a lot of maintenance people.
Yes.
Like I have my plumber, electrician that I know that they give me good prices.
Yes.
I don't know anybody in Pennsylvania.
That's right.
So they'll probably just rob me and just charge me 3 times the amount it is. So I was like, well, let me let him work that out. So it's worth the 10% that I pay him.
Absolutely. Okay. So now we've talked about being a personal investor. So you own your own properties. We've talked about being in the joint venture, the first one. We're in a more long-term joint venture right now, which is not year to year, right? This is a 3-year venture, this particular one. You get paid more often though.
Mm-hmm.
Any reason you chose this again instead of maybe investing in your next property?
I was like, at first I was like, this is 3 years. This is a long time. Anything could happen in 3 years.
Yes.
So I was kind of leery about it, but I'm the kind of person who's like, wait. So I went online. I think it was Fractional to see how much you raised already.
Yes.
Within like an hour, you raised almost all your money. And I'm like, I don't even have a day to think about this because it's like she raised all her money in like an hour. I was like, what are you waiting for? Everybody else is like, you better jump in on this before you don't get a chance. So I was like, all right, let me just transfer somebody real quick. I was like, okay. So it must be a great idea because it's like, wait a minute. You don't want to get lost because, I know somebody who did get lost. They waited too long. But you did with her before. So at least, for 3 years, you'll be getting a little something.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah.
So we've talked about you owning your own property. Mm-hmm. We've talked about you being a private lender multiple times with multiple structures of debt.
Yep.
You were also one of the first people to come to the conference, to our first in-person workshop last year in Charlottesville.
That was fun.
What was that like for you?
So that was my first real estate conference, so I didn't know what to expect.
Yes.
I'm like, why is it in Charlottesville? There's nothing in Charlottesville. Okay.
It's a wonderful place to live.
So, it was good. We had, different breakout rooms that were interesting. I met some people, made some friends, and I always get something out of anything that I go to that you do. Yeah. Even like Saturdays, I could be on vacation and I still log in to the brunches on Saturdays because I'm like, I'm going to miss something. Yeah. So I need to be in here. Yes. I need to be in it. So the, getting back to what we were talking about, but yeah, I learned some things, met some people, and got to see Virginia.
Anna is one of the reasons we have social events, or I'm trying to do more of those things, because I, the introvert, don't think about that aspect of the membership as much as I should. But even finding out, Anna and Elizabeth text each other sometimes. I was like, oh, you guys interact outside of group?
Oh, yeah, she called me yesterday. Yeah.
Why? Oh, yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And I need to do better at facilitating more of those opportunities for us to meet each other. So going back to that question I skipped, it's been 4 years. What are you still hoping to get out of the membership? What are you still hoping to get out of investing, especially as you look to retirement in a couple of years?
So there's a few things I want to do before I retire. I want to buy some land.
Okay.
So my son is in college now. He's an architect major.
Oh.
So when he graduates, I want to give him the land so he can just create and design something so he can put it on his plot of a land that I bought him.
That's adorable. I love that.
So I want to do that. Also, so my goal was to buy at least 2 houses so I can give them generational wealth. I wanted to give each one of my kids a house. All right. But I'm like, it's going to be a fight because no one's going to want that Pennsylvania house. They're going to want the New York house.
I was 3 different
I know,
houses.
right? So I'm gonna have to get another house that kind of like in Florida. So maybe my daughter will say, I'll take the Florida house and he can have the New York house. So yeah, I want to get a vacation home. And, you know, we've been going back and forth with that vacation home. Because I set a budget, but I never like anything in my budget.
She set the budget and it was like, I don't like that budget.
I don't like that budget. It's not my fault. The things is way more expensive than I thought it would be.
You should go see those properties. I say, don't go see those properties outside your budget. You're going to like them. And that's what she did.
My house is 99 years old. I want a brand new construction that I have to do nothing to. So yeah, so I have to work on that. So I want to get the land, another home. And I was thinking about another rental because I know that I want to make a certain amount of money when I retire.
Yes.
Because the lifestyle that I want is going to be very expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, do you have a time frame for all of those things? Is there by 2030?
2030? Way
5
before
years?
that.
Oh, before that? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm so sorry.
So the land I want to get soon. I'm asking my son, like, what do you like? Where do you think you might want to build a home? You know, he's like Colorado. I'm like, I don't think that's cheap. So I want to get the land within the next year. Okay. The vacation home, I'm working on that. Yes. I wanted to get it now, but others say I should wait.
That's right.
But if we go into a recession, I may not have to wait any longer. I may get that house before, you know. But I do have some debt I want to take care of first. Yes, take care of the debt.
Yes. So maybe 3 years? 2 years?
We'll see.
Okay.
Can't promise you that.
Okay.
We'll see.
You know, this has been everything I knew it was going to be. I wanted the world to see what I see on our Saturday calls, to see what I see in our one-on-ones. Just fun, but real, right? Hopeful, but we're grounding it. So we're not delusional. We're hopeful with like a healthy grounding to make sure that we can actually achieve what we want to achieve. My last question as we wrap up today would be, as people think about becoming investors themselves, what is a piece of advice you would give them, especially if they are the first sort of like investors in their community, in their families? What is a piece of advice you would give them?
So I would just tell them to just go ahead and take the plunge and enjoy the journey. Enjoy it. Don't wait. Don't be afraid. There's going to be some ups and downs. It's going to be, if you have the money, just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But just be careful about where you invest. Yes. Do your research.
Yes.
You know, when you want to check out the crime rates in some of the areas, because, you know, I checked out the crime rate. There's nothing going on where my house is. Also, what else did I check? Well, you know what you want to make, though.
Yes.
Because I knew what I wanted to make, and if it wasn't going to be what I wanted to make, then I didn't waste my time going to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. And you keep telling me it's a unicorn and you're not going to find anything like that again. I'm like, why can't I find that again?
The situation is what made it a unicorn. The very low interest rates, the fear around buying as a whole. So that I want you to buy again. I just don't know if it's going to profit exactly the same.
Yeah, that's the problem. Because I'm like, it's not profiting what I have now. And you want me to spend more money to get less? That doesn't make sense to me. So this is what we go through.
This is what we go through for every one-on-one. But yet it has resulted in a lot of money. It has resulted in a lot of profit. A lot of fun, yes. But at the end of the fun have been good financial decisions that we can stand on. Has been good goals to look forward to. Again, especially as you transition into retirement, as you think about the life you want to have, as you want to have it, not settling for what you might be able to skip by with. It is truly like, I want what I want.
Yes.
So my goal and part of my responsibility is to make sure we get there in a sustainable way so that you can enjoy it for as long as you want to travel and live that life.
Yes. And I also would tell them that, you know, bad things do happen.
Yes.
And you have to prepare for those.
It is still
especially turnovers. Turnovers could cost you a lot of money.
Yes. that we have to plan for them in advance.
Yes.
Because that is a natural part of this particular business. People do leave. So it's not, we cannot expect things to be perfect in order to make money.
And also know your, okay, if you're going to be investing out of state, you need to know the laws and things that, like in Pennsylvania, and it's different from New York, because in New York, you don't pay the realtor's commission. The commission is paid by the tenant. But in Pennsylvania, the landlord pays the commission. I said, what do you mean I got to pay you commission? The tenant didn't pay it? It's like, no, in this state, you guys pay. And I was like, oh, so no wonder you want to turn over my apartment so much. You want to collect this commission. Okay. But okay, so I'm learning. It's been a learning curve.
I took the gamble to not send Anna the questions beforehand, and it has paid off wonderfully. This is great. I didn't know why. I've been like, don't know what she's gonna say.
I was like, she didn't give me any questions. How am I supposed to know how to answer them? Okay.
This has been truly more than I could have hoped for. I wanted to show people again that these are real investors with real stories. Yeah, like that it's not just me. I think sometimes people get in their heads, it's like, well, you did something special. It's like, no, I didn't do something special. Here's Anna, who did the same thing.
Yeah.
Who had higher standards than me.
Yeah.
And still made it. Who fought me and was right. And is wrong on a lot of other things, but in one way it was absolutely right, and she holds on to it this entire time. But these are real world wins as well, right? They're lessons of like, hey, sometimes things don't work out exactly the way we planned, but look at all of I've been able to do with that one decision. But then it's not just that one decision. It's the joint ventures, it's the conferences, it's the learning, it's the investing, it's the Florida and the land and all of this. Yep. And it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I'd like to thank you for inviting us into your home or answering my request to come into your home so we could let people know a little bit more about you.
Well, thank you guys for coming.
Absolutely. If she'll let me tag her, then I'll tag her in the captions and such. But if not, again, Anna, thank you so much. And hopefully you'll be a part of the 100 we help invest this year. So maybe I can come interview you as well.
I'm not seeing them. I'm going to have to get that Florida property then.
So I can come back. That's right. Exactly.
Come to Florida. And we can hang out with the alligators in the back.
Oh, maybe. It's a little longer of a drive, but we'll figure it out. Bye, guys. And I will see you in the next video.